Keith Haring was born on May 4th, 1958 in Pennsylvania. As a child, he was always drawing. He went to art school after finishing high school, and when he got older, he moved to New York City, and he loved the energy there. He started drawing on paper in the subways, and people saw Keith Haring's work, and he started to become famous. His work was shown in galleries, and then he began to travel the world to show more of his artwork. In 1988, Keith Haring got very sick and died. Today, his artwork is still well known and can be found in museums all around the world. You can easily identify his artwork by his use of brightly colored figures and his use of lines to show movement. Keith Haring was a big influence in the pop art world. Now let's get up and dance to some of Keith Haring's artworks. What do you think of the style of Keith Haring? Can you feel the movement from the lines that he used? Let's get started on our own artwork now. All right, artists, we are going to draw in the style of Keith Haring now and create some figures with lines to show movement. What you're going to need is your sketchbook, a pencil. If your pencil doesn't have an eraser, then you need an eraser. And I also want you to get some kind of black crayon marker, something, a colored pencil, something to darken our lines with when we're done. I'm going to use the marker, but you can use a crayon, a regular Crayola marker, or if you have a Sharpie, that's fine too. So open up your sketchbooks and find a clean page. Now on this clean page, we are going to actually create our figure. And when I say figure, that means a person. And we're going to show them having movement, just like Keith Haring had done. Now, you're going to be able to draw on this paper a couple different figures the way we're going to do this. We're just going to practice for a little while. And we're going to start off by doing what we call a stick figure. So it's really just the circle for the head, line for the center, the torso, the body, lines for the legs and the arms. And we can move those around to different positions to show the way the body is moving. So let me start over here. I'm gonna move my paper down here to start at the top. And what I'll do is I'll draw a circle for the head and a line down for the body. It kind of looks like a lollipop at this time. And I'll do the legs. So I have the top of the legs and then where the leg bends for the knees here. And then I'll do the same thing down here. So you can see a stick figure that is just straight lines, either vertical, horizontal, diagonal. And then I'll do the arms. So here's the shoulders and an arm waving and another arm, and it's going down like this. Okay, so there's a curved line and it's kind of like diagonal line. So there's our idea of using lines to show movement. But we want to make it more of a Keith Haring-like figure. And his figures had a form to them. So they look like they weren't just the bones, the centers. It looked like you could see the muscles around it. So let me see. Show me your muscles. Make a big muscle with your arms and strike a pose, okay? And let's think about how we can add onto our stick figure here those muscles. So what we're gonna do is, it's gonna be kind of like taking this and blowing it up like a balloon. We're gonna go not on top of the line to trace, but we're gonna go with our pencil next to it and go around this way and back up, around, back up, until we get the entire body traced, even do the head. Okay. So now we just made it a little bit thicker. What we're going to do next is, in a Keith Haring drawing, we don't see the bones or the stick figure part of the body. So that's where you're going to get your eraser and carefully erase that middle part out of here. Okay? So erase that middle part out. And once you have that part out, we can make it even more like a Keith Haring figure by taking our black crayon, Sharpie, pencil, whatever you have, marker, and trace over those pumped up muscle lines that you made, like you made it like a big puffed up balloon. Trace over those lines and you will have a Keith Haring like figure. Now, let's do it again. Maybe somewhere over here you can do your figure doing something else with its body. So I'll draw my head, give it a little line, looks like a lollipop for the torso. Maybe I'll do it to look like it's running. So a leg go this way and that way, and then another leg this way and down. And let's see, let's pump those arms and get those arms moving so it looks like it's running. And then just like we did before, we have the bones. Now give it some muscle. So go around, give it some muscle. Okay, erase the center part. And to give it some Keith Haring-like lines, you can take your black marker, Sharpie, colored pencil, crayon, and you can trace over those pumped up muscle lines, okay? So this is a very basic way to create a Keith Haring figure, okay? So practice that this week. And if you were looking at some of the figures that we were doing or looking at with the videos that we saw and the pictures, they always had little lines going around it to show a little more action, that there's a little vibration with it, that maybe the way he's moving his arms, you can feel the movement a little bit more, or the way he's kicking up his feet to make those running legs, you can give a little bit more. So practice that on one paper. You can do a lot of different figures, and if you have time, you can color them in with your crayons or your markers or colored pencils. Just be careful that when you're coloring, you don't go through, use something that's going to go through to the next page. All right, so spend the time practicing that, and then next week, we're going to take these figures and create a really cool portrait, a self-portrait of yourself. So that's an artwork about you. All right, I can't wait to see what you guys create and practice your Keith Haring drawing.